If you sell print on demand on Etsy, then you either already offer some personalized items in your shop or you've thought about offering personalized items in your shop. And that's likely because on Etsy, customers really seek out personalized items. It's a popular type of product on the Etsy platform. Some print on demand platforms make it easy for you to sell personalized items and really built their software around allowing this functionality, and that would be platforms like Printful. Other platforms either haven't done it yet or maybe don't have the full ability to offer the same functionality, and that would be platforms like Printify. Printify is an excellent print-on-demand platform that I personally use for the majority of my fulfillment, but it's not quite as easy to sell personalized items on Printify. I've even gotten the question several times of whether it's possible at all. The answer is yes, it's possible, and in this video I'm going to show you exactly how I offer some personalized items in my Etsy shop and have the orders fulfilled by Printify. So stick around. All right, selling personalized items on Printify. You're probably going to hear me use the word choices a lot in this video because at almost every step of the way, there is a choice that you need to make or a few different directions that you could go. The first thing we're going to do is consider your store settings when it comes to order automation because you do have a choice that you need to make there. So if you go in your Printify account, if you come up to the drop-down menu next to your profile and select the store, go to Manage My Stores. Then once you're there, click on the Settings gear to get into the store settings, and then go to the Preferences section. So once you're on the Preferences page, scroll down to the Order Approval section. Here you've got choices to make, and you'll notice I have mine set to manual. It's actually set to manual because I offer some personalized items. Now, why we have to pay attention to this is because Printify does not have the ability, currently anyway, to stop an order from going to production based on the fact that it has a personalization applied to it. So when a customer checks out with a personalized item, you know, they have that little box where they enter what they want personalized. And basically behind the scenes in the code, there's a way to tell that personalization has been applied to that. But right now, Printify does not use that information to really do anything special with an order. When you place an order of a personalized item on Printful, on the other hand, if you have the Hold Personalized Orders option enabled in your store, that lets Printful know you want an order that comes in with a personalization to be held and not go to production because you need to customize it first. Printify, like I said, doesn't do that. There's no option in here to say hold orders only if they're personalized. So really our two choices are to hold every order, and which is what I have selected here, the manual option, which means no order will go to production until I manually submit it, or one of the automatic options. Now, if you choose one of the automatic options and you do still want to sell personalized items, I highly recommend you don't go with the automatic in 1 hour option because that only gives you 60 minutes to go get that order and personalize it or swap the design out before it goes to production. The other two options you can still use, and the rest of your non-personalized orders will get submitted to production on that timing that you select. So you can do it once every 24 hours, and the 24-hour option is 24 hours after the order is received. So every order has sort of a different clock based on when it comes in. The third option under automatic is that you pick the time of day that your orders all get submitted. So let's say you pick midnight. Like if I haven't personalized an order by midnight, it can go ahead and submit itself to production. So now that we made this decision, now we can actually go take a look at how to apply a personalized design to an order that we received. All right, so here we are on the orders page, and let's pretend that we have an order that came in for this mug that I sell in my Etsy shop. And as you can see, it's a very simple personalized type design, a mug that it's kind of a stop sign. It's supposed to be kind of funny with the middle word there. You can swap it out to say, you know, don't touch dad's mug, mom's mug, David's mug, anything that you want in the middle there. So very basic. Please don't make fun of my lack of graphic design skills. I just made this example for the video. Okay, so let's pretend we've got an order here, and it's the one here for John Doe, so we'll go into it. Now, we had time to go into this order because you either selected the manual fulfillment option, so nothing's going to happen until we come in here, or you set it to be 24 hours or one time a day at a certain time. So we just need to know that we have to come in here and do this before the order gets submitted if we picked one of those automatic options. So when it comes to actually personalizing this product, I'll open the image here so you can see, here's the mug that we just saw a second ago, right? Don't touch Dad's mug. Let's pretend it's a person's name. Let's pretend it's John's mug because the order's for John Doe. So I need to customize that middle word to say John on this order. Now you have two different choices on how you can do this. I'll show you both ways. If you take advantage of Printify's custom text option in the designer, you actually don't even need to edit the image file that you used. You can actually create just the graphic and then only use Printify's custom text for the part that's going to be changed later. So I'll show you exactly how that works. So I'm not going to submit this order yet, and I'm not going to order it yet, because the first thing I need to do is have a copy of this item available with the customization in it, because I don't want to do anything to my listing, right? I don't want to change my listing. So if you've seen my video on how I manage out of stock items, this process is going to look pretty familiar to you. So, and if you haven't seen it, I'll put a link to it up in the corner, because I do a very similar thing to manage out of stock items and save time on that. So first, we're going to go back to my store, my product listings, and we need to have a second version of this mug with the name John in it instead of Dad's. So like I said, I'm not going to change the product itself, right? Because I don't want to have to republish it. I don't want to mess around with the actual core listing. So I'm going to use the copy feature to copy it. That'll drop it right at the top here. Now I've got another product listing that I can work with. I'm going to go into the design. So here's one way of doing it. By the way, people like designs that are printed on both sides of the mug. So if you can do that, better. I just didn't do it for the example. But what I did here is the stop sign with the words "don't touch" and "mug," so top and bottom, that's part of the design. So that's the graphic. The word in the middle is Printify's custom text option. So I don't even have to change the print file or the graphic here. I don't have to go into Photoshop. I don't have to do anything. I just come to this custom text and I change this to the word John's instead of Dad's, and I make it fit, make sure it's centered. I do a preview of it. So if I had to adjust this, I would adjust it. Looks okay. Actually, I probably would adjust it a little bit. It looks a little bit like it's touching the borders, but let's pretend it's okay. And then I would hit Save Product. And now what I'm going to do, just for myself, for organization's sake, I'm going to edit the listing and change the name. And what I like to do is at the very beginning of the name, because the end gets cut off, I'm going to put John in all caps, and then just the rest of the name. And don't forget, you don't want to hit publish. Okay, so it was behind me. The publish button is right next to the save as draft button. Don't click the publish button, because remember, this is the custom one we made just to fulfill this order. So we only want to do save as draft. We don't want to publish it. Okay, so now we've got our product saved on our product page, and we're ready to go back to the order and swap it out for the one that we customized. And that is exactly how we fulfill the order with a personalized design. Now, before I go do that, let me just mention what your other option is. Let's say that you don't love the custom text options that Printify offers, because I didn't show you what they were. And if you haven't used them before, they are limited, right? So the font choices you have here, it's not a really long list. You don't have control over things like bold or italic, at least not yet. It is something that I've given feedback to Printify about, so hopefully maybe they make some enhancements to this. You can, of course, change the color of the text, but you can't really change a ton about it. You also can't control things like the letter spacing and things like that. So if you want more control over the text, or you just, you want more control over everything to do with a design, you don't have to use the custom text. I like to do it if there happens to be a good fit, because it does save time. It means I don't have to upload a new print file, a new graphic. I just have to edit the text, like I said. But let's pretend maybe I'm not happy with the text options here. So let's delete that layer and actually delete the graphic, because what I'm going to need to do is replace this whole thing to customize it if I don't use Printify's custom text. So I would still copy that listing the same way that I did to create a second listing, basically, a draft listing. But then I would have to go to Photoshop and open up the print file that I used on that mug. So here's the design, and let's pretend that I had this text in there instead with the word Dad's. I'd have to come back in here and put the customization in this way. Now you do have a lot more control over your text in Photoshop, so you may prefer to do this. And you, of course, want to save this file. Any design that's for a personalized item, you want to save this file as a PSD, so a Photoshop template file, and not just as like a final PNG, because it will leave all your layers intact and it will leave all of your text fields, available for you to edit later. So save this as a template to come back to and edit whenever you need to. So I'm going to edit the size of my text here to make it fit. Maybe, you're a little bit happier with this result compared to using the custom text option on Printify, because you can manipulate the text a little bit more, make it fill more of the space, make it match better. So if you'd like to do this, now we would have to go File, Export. So we'll export this as a PNG file. So now that we've exported that file, we'll come back to Printify and we'll upload it. And there we go. Now we have to make this a little bit smaller. One thing that helps is, maybe actually don't do what I did and delete the original file first. Add this one as a layer so you can match the size perfectly. You can always go back to your original listing to check the size dimensions and make it match perfectly. But let's just make this kind of close. Okay, so now we've got same result basically. Just, it's just a matter of which you prefer. Do you want to have more control and edit your PSD file every time you get a custom order to upload a new graphic, or do you want to go with the custom text option that Printify offers and then only have to change the text every time? Either way, we've now got this copied draft product in our store here on Printify. We didn't publish it, right? We just need it for this order. So we've got it here. We've got John's name on it. Now we can go back to our orders page and go back into the order for John. And what we're going to do is we're going to click on Edit Order. It'll pop up this page. All we have to do is do our Add Product at the top and then select the item we just created and then delete the original. So remember, John here is in the name, so we don't want to delete that one. Delete the original. And now we can proceed to the shipping step and shouldn't have to change anything there. Proceed to the final step to verify everything and then hit the Fulfill button and you're done. Now, I know that probably looked like a slow, lengthy process, but the more you do this, the faster it really gets. And, the faster you get at editing the file, uploading it, copying it, processing the order. It seems like a lot the first time you do it, but if you really want to stick with Printify as your fulfillment partner, this is pretty much what you have to go through to sell personalized items. Like I said, there is no other option on Printify, at least right now, to set aside your personalized items and customize them the way that you can on Printful. So all in all, I personally don't see this as a barrier to selling personalized items. It's a little bit more manual work, but I do sell some personalized items and I like to be able to offer them to my customers. So this is how I go about doing it. One final note about that copied listing before we wrap it up for this video. Every time I get an order for one of these mugs that's personalized, I have a choice to make here. I can either keep copying the original listing and editing that draft listing with the personalization in it and saving each one separately. So I've got a bunch of these drafts that I can swap into orders whenever needed, or I can just edit the first one that I copied every time and basically change that one every time, because that one's not published. Remember, it's just the draft listing that I'm using to swap into my order. So it kind of depends on what you prefer there. Personally, I would probably save separate copies of at least really common names that maybe you get orders of more than once. You don't necessarily have to keep a separate copy for every single personalization that you get. Like I said, you have nothing but options. You have a lot of choices to make, but it is possible. And the more you do it, the faster you will get at it. So I hope this video was helpful. Let me know in the comments if it was, or if you have a different way of managing your personalized orders on the Printify platform. I'd love to hear about it and learn. And don't forget, I started recently the POD Insights podcast. I'm releasing an episode roughly every week. So if you like to listen to your print-on-demand information as well as see it, then check out the POD Insights podcast. It's available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and a few other platforms. And that's it for this video. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you next time.